Hello students, this is my fifth Photoshop demo for Unit 6, which is the Transformative Imagery. So I'm going to choose my Photoshop app, and I'm going to bring up my Transformative Image project. And what I decided to do was make a roller coaster going into the water. So I thought that was kind of fun, right? And I think that would be really cool. If it doesn't exist, it should. And I added some other fun elements as well. The whole point of this project was, again, to put objects together that wouldn't normally be together and transform those images. So I also added a little goldfish going, "What?" Because I think that's what a goldfish would say if a roller coaster was going underwater, right? Because that is a little fishy, if you didn't catch my dad joke there. So this was actually a lot more challenging than I anticipated it to be. And the reason why is because I had to do a lot of creative problem solving to get the roller coaster to look like it was like half of it was underwater. Because you can't just edit half of an image really easily. So what I actually had to do was duplicate that roller coaster layer and erase half of it so that I could have a second roller coaster image that was cut in half, so I could change just one half, the color of one half, to make it look like it was underwater. And I actually had to erase an area in the middle so that I had the clear water line so you could tell the difference between the top and the bottom. That was actually really challenging. So how I figured this out is I duplicated the layer and then created two images. So I just wanted to demonstrate that really quickly. You guys will be doing this transformative imagery and kind of dividing images in half. So I wanted to show you just really quickly that one tip on how I did that. So to do that, I'm actually going to create a new document. And I'm just going to do, a regular print. And here is my blank canvas. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring up that roller coaster layer. So I'm going to add the roller coaster. All right, so I have my roller coaster. So I want this roller coaster to be half one color and half the other. So there's a lot of different ways to do this, but this is the way that I found to be the most effective. So because I can't just change half, I'm actually going to duplicate this layer. So I'm going to tap on that roller coaster layer, and it's the two squares where one of the squares has a plus sign. That's the one you're going to choose. So I'm going to click that, and it's going to create a second identical layer, okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to choose the first layer, and I'm only going to erase the bottom half on the first layer. So I'm just going to guess on this one. For the water one, I actually had to work with the line of the water and be precise, but for these purposes, I'm just going to show you really quick. So I'm going to take the eraser tool, and I'm just going to erase half of my roller coaster. But I can't see anything, right? And that's because I can still see the other layer. So I'm actually going to click on that bottom layer, and I'm going to hit the little eyeball to make it disappear. So now all I see is my first roller coaster, okay? So now I've erased half the roller coaster. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring this layer up again, the second one, and now it all looks together again because you can't see, I haven't erased the top half of the second layer yet. So now what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to make the first layer transparent. Oh, sorry, wrong. Whoops, oh, I'm going crazy now. Sorry. What I wanted to do is I want to make it transparent because I want to see what I'm erasing. So I'm actually going to tap on this first layer here, and I'm going to hit the adjustments, and I'm going to lower the opacity of it, okay? Because in the second one, I'm going to erase the top half. So, oh, and forgive me, I'm going to lower the opacity. There, I apologize. I lowered the opacity on the wrong one. So I'm lowering the opacity on the second one. So now you can see my previous line, right? So now I'm going to take my eraser tool, and I'm going to erase the top half. So the first, I'm going to take my eraser, I'm going to line up. Whoops, I already messed up. I want to align my eraser with that top half. This is where it gets kind of tough because I don't want to see that eraser on the line, or just very faintly. Okay, and now I can erase the rest. So now when I bring the opacity back up, okay, now I only see a very faint line in between the two, and for those purposes, or for my purposes, that's totally fine. But the opacity is back up on both. So now if I just hit the move tool, now I can bring these apart and together again. So pretty cool, right? So I have one layer with the top and another layer with the bottom. So I'm going to hit undo so I can line them up again. Now you can change the color of only one. So for my purposes with the water, I had the second layer, and what I wanted to do was change it so that it would be darker colored. which you could use these different options down here, or you can use the adjustments if you'd like. So the adjustments, again, are the add clipped adjustment. So let's say I want to edit the hue and saturation. So for the bottom half, I could make the bottom half purple, and I could keep the top half the regular blue. So that was like a really quick fix for me that took me way too long to kind of figure out how I wanted to approach that situation for how to make half of it. So let's go back to my original again. So now you can see, and in my layer box, I have a top half and a bottom half. And on the bottom half of the roller coaster, I made it like that green tint so that it made it appear like it was underwater. So with these transformative images, you can do a lot of different things. You can divide things in half, and hopefully those tips help. But again, experiment, do some creative problem solving, and reach out to me if you can't figure it out. Thank you for